Are you thinking about working with a financial advisor? Today, we're going to talk about 4 critical questions you should ask to understand if an advisor is right for you. Hello, welcome back to Wealth Wednesday. This is our bi-weekly show to help you make better decisions about money in your life. You can find us on the web, on YouTube in particular, at Commonwealth Financial, and you can find our website and our blog there, cfswv.com. Working with a financial advisor is not a decision anyone should take lightly. It is a relationship that can add significant value over time if it is a good fit. The challenging part about our industry is that it is still challenging to filter through the hundreds of people who hold themselves out to be advisors. Let's welcome to our show Todd Kemple, an advisor in Wheeling, West Virginia. Todd, you've been in this industry for 40 years. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and we've both seen a significant evolution in how business is done in our industry. And this leads us to the first and arguably most important question you should ask a prospective advisor, and that's, how do you make money?
It's a good question, Neil, and you have to look at what the platform is that the advisor is attached to, frankly. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those to give some background. We could spend quite a bit of time on this topic, Neil. The evolution has been one coming from what's called a broker-dealer. And a broker-dealer kind of acts like a middle entity between a product sponsor, manufacturer like a mutual fund company, and you, the consumer. And so the broker-dealer model for decades and decades was based upon commissions, because the investment professionals were compensated basically on the number of transactions, in essence. So in our world, our firm, we are a registered investment advisory firm. So we are compensated on a fee basis, not on commissions. What that means is that fees are assessed based upon the value of your account and are deducted from the account typically on a quarterly basis. The SEC considers fees to be compensation for advice, Neil, not driven by transactions, because that is a disconnect for us. So the client is paying for advice, not for the execution of a transaction of a buy and sell. And that leads into a very, very deep area about fiduciary responsibility on the advisory side. That isn't as prevalent on the broker-dealer side, although there's efforts at trying to apply that standard to that particular platform. So the old adage is, when your account goes up in value with a fee-based model, the advisory firm is going to make more money. Likewise, if your account declines in value, your advisory firm is going to see a reduction also. So the financial interests are aligned between the investment firm and the client, Neil, in that model.
So that leads us to our second key question that you should be asking to a prospective advisors. What experience and qualifications do you have? And experience is a great teacher. So when you look back at someone's career, what they've gone through, both from an investment perspective and from just helping people, has shaped their viewpoints and shaped their opinions on what is the right thing or the inappropriate thing to do in some circumstances. I know someone who's been around for quite some time that maybe went through the .com episode when the market crashed back in the early 2000s, someone who went through the great financial crisis, COVID, all those things, those all shape our viewpoints and our mindsets about that. Likewise, if we have to deal with things like the windfall elimination provision of Social Security or the government pension offset, dealing with those various situations helps us become better educated and better able to help people as we move forward with others that face similar situations. And, it's also an education thing. There's an ongoing education with all of this: taxes, insurance, investing, all of this. We all have continuing education requirements that we tend to accumulate over time. And there's rarely something that I don't learn something new about a specific topic, whether it's long-term care or something else, because maybe I just don't deal with it every day. And, that's a huge thing, in my opinion, when you're talking to a firm. And what do they, what's behind it, and what is what are you getting from that? You take a small one-person shop. There's one person, and whatever their experience and knowledge is what it is. You take a firm like ours, where we have 10 advisors, 5 CFP pros, a chartered financial consultant. There's all kinds of experience, knowledge, and expertise there that can help you when you're trying to sort through some of the problems that you'll face. Now, Todd, what do you, as an advisor or a firm, what's your investment philosophy? What's your basic financial philosophy when it comes to money? That's another key question.
Well, Neil, first of all, I do not personally worship money. Money to me is an object that we use to acquire the things that we have value for. And it's my job, our job, Neil, to understand what our clients value and where they want those investment dollars to be used to benefit them and the people and institutions for which they have appreciation of. So for me, it starts with making sure I understand fully what the client's goals are. Investment philosophy, you can talk about that in the sense that we're not trying necessarily to generate the maximum capital gains as a primary focus for our company. There are firms that is all they do, that is their mantra. That's not us. We are looking at what is the trade-off between risk and return relative to the client's beliefs, Neil. And that's going to be the central thing for us in terms of how we allocate and invest a client's money. So the core belief becomes, are we aligned with our clients' desires and goals? Are we helping them do better with their money? Again, measured against their goals. And if we don't feel that we can have belief and support in their goals, then our investment philosophy doesn't mean really anything, Neil, in that regard. So it's to me, it's all about the relationship and understanding exactly what it is the client wants, to see if in fact we can deliver that for them as a firm, Neil.
So I think the last major question in my mind that you want to ask a prospective advisor is, where do you feel you add value? And most firms are going to offer to manage your assets for you. That's one of the big ways that people get paid in our industry. And so that becomes somewhat of a focus when you're talking to somebody. But investment management is kind of a commoditized thing anymore. It's very difficult to generate any kind of outperformance, like Todd said earlier. It's becomes then, what else are you really doing for the client? And our focus is about financial planning. So that comes into taxes. It comes into Social Security, estate planning, cash flow planning. Investing is a component of that. Insurance can be a component of that as well. There's all kinds of different things that factor into a plan as a whole. And when you're paying someone a decent amount of money to help provide you advice, there should be advice about all aspects of what you're doing in life, not just the investing side of things. So you really need to pay attention to what they're doing for you. Are they creating a plan? Are they generating some good recommendations based on how you can get to the goal you want to achieve, or how you can create an income stream that you won't outlive, and those types of things? That's all part of the equation that you should be investigating. If they're only talking about investing your money, it's not necessarily a red flag if that's what you're looking for, but there should be some other value that they're adding. Todd, there's probably another dozen questions we could throw in here, but are we missing anything important in your opinion? What else what should people be asking their prospective advisors?
I think we've covered the main and quite frankly, typical things that people would look at. But I think you need to dig a little deeper, Neil, in that in my 40 plus years, this is not all cut and dried, right? I mean, you are an excellent financial planner. You can show what the most appropriate course of action is from an academic perspective. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we have feelings and emotions and psychology to our decision-making process that sometimes the right choice academically may not be the way to go. And you need to have an advisor that listens, that understands those other pieces and those other fears and other motivations that come out of being a human being, Neil. And that's something that you don't get online, right? It's not something that is a program that can sit there and understand your emotions and why you feel the way you do. So I think that's a critical piece. It takes a little more time for us as advisors to get that kind of understanding. And it's not always easy to do. It can be draining doing that day after day after day, but that's where the real connection is made and where that relationship is solid, that you can trust your advisor to know that not only are we doing the right planning that Neil so cleanly laid out and the complexity of it, but what does that mean in real life to me, that when I'm done, I can go home and not worry about this and not be concerned and know that I'm on track, Neil. And I think that's a huge piece. And if you don't feel that connection with the advisor, then you need to move on, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is a relationship business, and you have to feel good about who you're working with. And a lot of our clients have, Todd can speak to this as well, have been with us for several years because there is that connection. It becomes a friendship, if you will, almost a family type connection that we build with our clients over time. We get to know everybody very well. And that's not just a sales pitch, but because any firm that you talk to, they'll have similar stories about that. It's about getting to know those folks. The other thing, the waters are muddy, right? People will have all kinds of different opinions, but the main thing is you have to be comfortable with the relationship that you have. And as long as you're comfortable and you feel that the person you're working with is adding the value that you desire, you're going to be in good shape. Todd, thanks for joining us today. I think we've given some folks some good ideas of what to really look for in this. And if you would like to learn more about our firm, find us on the web, cfswv.com, our YouTube channel at Commonwealth Financial. We have some exciting news coming up here that we'll have some videos introducing some new faces that you'll see here on Wealth Wednesday going forward, as well as some faces that you'll meet in offices like Wheeling, West Virginia. And I know Todd's been very excited about this. So check us out here in a couple weeks, and we'll be back in touch with those introductions. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.